First at 4, a 10-year-old boy is facing charges this afternoon accused of bringing a knife to school, and prosecutors are also describing what they call a hit list. 2 days before the Big Ten championship, a senior captain on the University of Michigan football team faces a judge. We're going to talk about the charge against him and if he can still play. And here's Kim.
Temperatures this afternoon are in the upper 30s. Not too windy today, but wind returns big time for the weekend. We'll talk about it in the forecast coming up.
We keep hearing about Braden Lake from Grass Lake, but who is he really? The only way to find out is to drive to the village of Grass Lake and track down his friends, coaches, even his girlfriend. I'll share with you the details they're spilling about him.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, a 10-year-old boy has been charged in a shocking case involving a knife and what prosecutors call a hit list. Investigators say the child brought a knife to the Prevail Academy Charter School in Mount Clemens on Tuesday. They say he had a list of students who had been mean to him and called him names. We are told the 10-year-old asked another student to hold down someone on the list so he could stab him. Instead, that other student took the knife and then gave it to an adult. That child is being called a hero this afternoon. The 10-year-old faces 2 charges, one of them a felony. He is under house arrest at this hour. 2 days before the Big Ten championship, a University of Michigan football player is in court facing a felony charge of carrying a concealed weapon. Defensive lineman Mazi Smith is charged after an incident back on October 7th. Police say he was pulled over for speeding and was found to have a gun in the car without a valid CPL. His attorney says Smith was in the middle of applying for the license, which he has since obtained. For now, Smith was released on personal recognizance with several restrictions. For example, he can only leave the state when traveling with the football team. There will be a probable cause hearing on December 8th. Michigan's athletic director has released a statement saying in part, quote, Mazi was honest, forthcoming, and cooperative from the very beginning and is a tremendous young man. He is not and never has been considered a threat to the university or community. And Mazi will continue to participate as a member of the team. We're gathering more reaction right now, and we also will be live in Ann Arbor when you join us at 5. Well, you practically need a scorecard, right, to track road construction in Metro Detroit. Now there is a new project on I-275. Wayne County drivers beware. Southbound I-275 will have only one lane open from 5 Mile to Eureka Road, and that goes from today until mid-December. On the northbound side, only one lane is open from Eureka to I-96. This will allow crews to move concrete barrier sections to the new side of the road. All ramps will remain open. Oh, by the way, if you can find a digital scorecard for road updates on the traffic page, you can check it out at clickondetroit.com. It's gorgeous out there, isn't it? Let's take a look at our first forecast. We're seeing more sunshine, less wind. Things will, of course, keep changing over the next few days. Kim Adams will pinpoint those changes as they happen, but it's pretty nice out there right now, Kim.
It really is. Even though temperatures are in the 30s, that sunshine definitely helps. It's 37 now at Metro Airport, 39, City Airport, 36 in Pontiac, upper 30s in Mount Clemens. The winds have calmed, so our wind chills are higher than they were yesterday. So even though our temps are a little bit colder, it doesn't quite feel as cold. Feels like it's 30 at Metro Airport, also in Pontiac. 31 is the current wind chill in Mount Clemens. Here's your evening planner. Nice and dry. Temperatures will stay in the 30s all the way through midnight tonight when we drop down to a low of about 29 degrees. Winds are going to start coming out of the south, which are nice warm winds, but that warm up doesn't last long. Look at this temperature trend over the next 7 days. We're up and then we're right back down again. We'll talk about the weekend forecast and the chance for more high winds coming up in just a few minutes.
Kim, we do have some breaking news right now from the United States Supreme Court, which just ruled President Biden's plan for student loan forgiveness will remain blocked for now. But the court also says it will take up the case in late winter. The decision to hear arguments that quickly could mean we'll have a decision on the legality of the program probably by late June. Now, the debt relief plan would offer up to $20,000 in relief to millions of qualified borrowers. In the meantime, student loan payments on federal loans have been paused until the court battle is over or late next summer, whichever comes first. We'll follow it for you and keep you posted. President Joe Biden is using all the pomp and pageantry of the White House to warm up relations with the president of France, Emmanuel Macron. The American president and first lady officially welcomed Macron and his wife earlier today. There have been some rough spots in the alliance since Biden took office, but Macron's will be guests at an official state dinner in just a few hours. Kimberly Gill following this story for us from our newsroom. Kim?
Karen, good afternoon. That state dinner is the first of the Biden presidency. Of course, COVID was a bigger concern when he took office almost 2 years ago. After the official welcome, Biden and Macron held bilateral talks with their aides inside the Oval Office. They talked about several key issues ranging from the war in Ukraine to climate change. Today, Biden admitted there are glitches in America's new clean energy law and said there might be tweaks that could satisfy America's allies. Macron and other allies have expressed concerns about the provisions that favor American-made climate technology. Overall, the two leaders are celebrating an enduring partnership.
France is our oldest ally, our unwavering partner in freedom's cause. From the spirit of Marcus de Lafayette, who helped secure the success of our revolution, to the sacrifice of American GIs who stormed the beaches of Normandy, our history has been shaped by the courage of the women and men who crossed the Atlantic, carrying within their hearts the flame of liberty.
Sources say tonight's state dinner will be held under a tent on the south lawn of the White House. We'll have more on the state visit when you join us for Local 4 News at 5. Until then, we'll send it back to you in the studio, Karen.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Kim. Well, we still have a long way to go, but there is a small sign. Inflation may have started to cool down. Today, the Commerce Department says the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index was up 6% in October. That's down slightly from the 6.3% increase reported for the month of September. Now, the Federal Reserve likes to watch the PCE because of how it presents consumer price information. Still, the Fed has said it would like to get inflation down to just 2%. Wouldn't we all? All right, it looks like Democrats and Republicans have reached a deal to pass legislation to force railroad workers to accept a contract that 4 unions have rejected. Still, any single senator can slow the progress, and some say they're not sold on the idea.
So one legitimate question is being asked now, are we about to do something where Congress will forever be settling the disputes through congressional action? I think that's a bad precedent and something that resonates with me.
The unions are fighting for sick pay. The contract only gave them 1 day. The House passed a second bill, giving them 6 more days. The Senate has to pass both to avert a strike. Strike deadline, December 9th. I'd like to take a few seconds to remind you it is World AIDS Day, and while there has been progress in battling the disease, experts point out awareness is still so critical. One expert says people still need to know their HIV status and should be tested if they have any reason to believe they may have been exposed. He says you can trace 40% of new infections to people who were actually unaware of their own diagnosis. The doctor stresses there are treatments that help patients live normal lives, but we need to normalize testing and make sure everyone can receive HIV care. Fans of The Voice already know about Braden Lape. If you are not watching, maybe now is the time to start rooting for the singer who comes from Grass Lake, Michigan, right outside of Jackson. Lape just advanced to the semifinals, and our Kim DeGiulio drove out to Grass Lake to see where Braden gets that country charm that has suited him so very well on the show.
Grass Lake has a population of just over 1,000 people, so you can imagine the excitement here when one of their own is giving the village of Grass Lake national attention.
Home is where the heart is. I'm homesick for you.
Imagine that. Your childhood best friend now performing in front of a national audience on The Voice, representing Team Blake Shelton.
Man, that's my buddy right there. It's crazy.
Well, that's the case for Bryant Cook, who's been best friends with Braden since before he can even remember.
Like, I still think of him as just my small town buddy. We play all our sports together, and now everyone knows him, and it's the craziest thing to me.
Bryant remembers the first time he and Braden took a music class together.
All of a sudden, a couple days went by, and he's playing like songs, and I'm just caught off guard. He's like actually really good at it.
Which isn't surprising. Just ask one of Braden's football coaches, Chris Rule.
Everything comes so easy to him. He's just a natural athlete.
As a sophomore, Braden is the varsity quarterback here at Grass Lake High. And even last year as a freshman, he was all conference in basketball and baseball.
You know, Braden takes everything in great stride. No moment's too big for him. He's, even out on the football field, he's calm and collective no matter the situation.
Okay, let's be honest. Braden sounds like a total catch. But sorry, ladies, he's taken. What do you like about Braden?
I mean, his looks.
He and his beautiful girlfriend, Ava Vigeland, have been dating for 2 years.
I think with someone who's so good at everything, like all these different sports, like football, baseball, basketball, who can also sing, who's also attractive, I think you could very easily, get very cocky and like get in your head, but he's not like that at all.
Ava says Braden deserves this moment. He loves music, and you can tell he's in his element when he's on stage.
Braden's friends and coach say that when he returns here to Grass Lake, he's still going to be the same old Braden, kind, caring, and humble. They say Hollywood hasn't and won't change him one bit. Reporting in Grass Lake, I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Kim. By the way, the next episode of The Voice this Monday, you can watch it right here on Local 4.